we're gonna have to move her to this hospital. We're gonna have to prepare for a liver transplant. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, in my mind, that's a huge deal. There's a waiting list and everything for those things, and that's when I started really asking myself, I was like, what will happen if I lose you?
This is Vivian Velasquez.
And this is Raul Velasquez.
Welcome to the God, Money, and Purpose podcast.
Welcome to the God, Money, and Purpose podcast. My name is Raul Velasquez, and I'm here with my beautiful co-host,
Vivian Velasquez.
And today we're doing this episode from our home. We're back from vacation. We came back home, decided to share some of our insights that we've gotten in the last, 6 months? 6 months from this experience.
I think insights, and mostly for me, is just sharing the good news. Like, there's so many great things that have been happening. And, we sometimes get so focused on, I wouldn't say the bad, but we just get so consumed by it. And I think if we allow that energy to take over, we could get stuck in there. And I just, there's so much in my heart right now that I want to share. So if you're listening to this, I really want to thank you for the love and for the support of you following us. I want to thank you for believing in us, because even though we believe in ourselves, it really does help, and it feels so beautiful to have all the support from all of you, to have the questions, and to have like this messages that I get from each and every one of you. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, and every single one of you that send us questions. I mean, we get questions all the time, and we get messages, and just the amount of support and the love of the community, and those who listen to us, who watch us, who follow our journey, know that at the end of the day, we're here just to bring a little bit of light into what is it that we do. Give you a little bit of light of some of the struggles, some of the journey, some of the wins, but at the end of the day is just us sharing some perspective about how to focus more on God, how to create more money, and at the same time how to live with a purpose. And it all comes down to integration. How do you integrate everything? So today it's been 6 months since you and I got diagnosed with COVID 6 months ago. Yes. And it's been a crazy journey, because I was just sharing with my clients this morning when I sent them a message. I said, it's been 6 months that feels like 6 years. Like 6 months ago, we had the leadership summit, and a lot of people got sick from that event. And you and I got sick, and I recuperated, came back fast. But you had some health challenges, and share with the audience like what has been like for you in the last 6 months.
And I think we shared a little bit about what we went through with the COVID situation, but I know, and I always say this, and I always have to remind myself, is that timing for each and every person is so different and is so profound. And I think even like for me, like I wanted to rush my healing. I wanted to I compared myself to Raul as like, well, if he's better, if he got over it, then why can I? And I'm drinking the same juice, and I'm taking care of myself, and I'm sleeping the way that I'm sleeping, and I'm doing all these things. And then God is just there to remind me like, no, like I have a different plan for you. There is something different for you. And I think that's really important for us as women, is to realize, like, one, don't compare yourself to anyone, because our journey is so different, and at the same time so familiar. It's just in a different time. And two, like, healing needs to happen, and we really need to be aware of the healing that's happening. And I think like this time, the 6 months for me has just been, really getting in tune to like what is it? What is the bigger picture of healing that needed to happen? And it wasn't just my liver, because I got COVID and then my liver failed. And for me, it was like, oh my God, like, what have I been doing with my body, right? Like,
and it got as bad as the doctors recommending a liver transplant.
Yes.
That's when, for me, shit got real. When we got the doctors, phone call, says, we're going to have to move her to this hospital. We're going to have to prepare for a liver transplant. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, in my mind, that's a huge deal. There's a waiting list and everything for those things. And that's when I started really asking myself, I was like, what will happen if I lose you? What will happen if the worst, case scenario? And I think that every morning when I do my ritual, every morning when I do my meditation, one of my biggest fears is if something happens to you, if something happens to my kids. And if the moment that I start focusing on that, the moment that I start, playing that in my mind, anything else that has a problem is no longer a problem because I feel like, okay, my wife is good, my kids are good, I'm healthy, and then I could tackle anything. But the moment that your worst nightmare becomes true, then you really test it. Then you really test it with your faith.
And that's where faith comes in. And I think that's how it was for us, because we believe in God. Like, we know his promises. We've read the Bible, not the whole Bible, but we've read the Bible. We've been to church. But then when you're actually tested, then it's when like God is actually saying like, well, fear is in your heart. What are you willing to replace it with? And for me, that was like the big confrontation in myself. It's like knowing that, okay, I know his promises, I know his word, but it's in my head. Now, how do we bring that to our heart and then have this complete alignment between, and that's part of my ritual. Like in the morning, like as I was walking this past mornings, like I say my ritual out loud because I know this test was coming. And I kept saying those promises, and I kept saying like, well, what do I say? I have to close my eyes and kind of say it, but my mind and my heart are in complete alignment, and my body knows exactly what to do to heal itself. And I have faith in what God has in store for me. And to speak those promises out loud, and for me to actually believe it. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges that we have, because a lot of us out there have challenges. Like, we all have challenges, but what do we believe in? Do we get stuck in that mentality of like, well, I don't know if it's, like, it's so easy for us to fall into that. It's so easy for us to like go into this victim mentality and just, okay, I'm sick, it's for a reason, or okay, my marriage is failing, maybe it should fail, or my kids are out of control. So if we fall into that route, then everything could kind of just take a spiral down from there.
When things like this happen, the first thing that comes into our minds is, why is God punishing us? Especially if you believe in God and the church, right? Everything, happens, and if you are good things happen. If you're bad, well, God is punishing you. I think that's the religion that we've been brought up, is that God is taking care of those who are good and punishing those who are bad. And I think when things like this happen, we have to understand that God is not punishing anybody. Like, I don't believe that God is looking down and saying, okay, who should I punish today? Who is going to get my wrath today? I think that when things like this happen, it's just bringing us awareness of the things that we're not doing to actually take care of ourselves, or giving us opportunity for us to trust more. And I found myself praying deeper, when you got sick, than really surrendering and asking God, okay, God, what do you want me to learn from this? If I lose my wife, how are you going to strengthen me? How can I get stronger for my kids? And, I play those scenarios in my mind, and then, and little by little that's part of reality. I mean, we lost my dad passed away. It's going to be a year, almost to a year now. And, we're not promised tomorrow. Right. And it's the one thing that we learned for the last 6 months is like, shit can happen any minute. Like, there's a lot of people out there living like, okay, this COVID thing is not going to hurt me or whatever. Like, COVID might not hit, COVID might not kill you or anything that kill you, but you're going to die eventually. Yeah. So what we need to do is really prepare ourselves to live today instead of waiting for one day. And I think that's what I've learned in the last 6 months, is really learn to appreciate you more and see, what am I doing today to actually not live with regrets? So I don't have to say, I wish I could have, what if I didn't?
Yeah, that's the same thing goes for me. And I think another big thing that I've gotten from all this sickness and from the part that I needed to heal is when we are going through whatever challenge, whatever conflict, whether it's with your kids, whether it's, like I talk to a lot of women now, like they're teenagers or they're young kids. There's always something happening, something in your relationship, something in your business, or something in your body. And something that all of this has taught me is like, what is the gift? There's always a gift. And at the beginning, sometimes we look through a small lens of what this problem is. But when you step back and you're able to see like, well, where's the gift in all of this? What could serve me as a gift? What could I extract as a gift? And I'm telling you, for me, it's been just so profound, because this sickness that I've had has not only, one, I stopped drinking, two, being aware of my body and like what I could do to enhance all of this, perfect machine. But also like the healing that had to happen and the gifts that it brought me with my with family members, with myself, with like past experiences of healing. It's just been so much. And I think like the more that we are in tune to that, the more that we're like, where's the gift? How does this really serve me? Instead of me playing this victim mentality and get stuck into that energy of like, well, I'm sick or I'm mad or I'm angry. I just, I chose not to be there, because I think, if God gives us anything, is the gift of choice. And that is something really profound that I've learned with all the sickness.
That's when you say you stop drinking. It's like if you drink every day. Like everybody hears that, it's like, oh, you used to drink every day. But the reality is that you probably one of the most disciplined women that I know when it comes to alcohol. Like you don't drink more than like 1 or 2 cups of wine in a dinner. In the contrary with me, I can't do a dinner unless I'm drinking the whole bottle.
I know,
like,
but then listen, like alcohol, we know that alcohol is not good. So it's like that excuse of, oh, well, 1 glass or 1 bottle. But then when you get sick, then it's like, oh, okay, I no longer tolerate that.
What I believe is, when you give up something out of choice versus giving up something because you have to, is a completely different experience. Because I gave up alcohol at the beginning of the year, and I said, I'm not going to drink for the next 7 years.
That was a choice. Yeah, that was your choice.
I wasn't sick. COVID wasn't around. But then when you got sick, it's like, okay, now I know that God put that in my
planted that seed
for a reason. Because now you have to get healthy. Now we have to eat better. Now
now you're my juice doctor.
Now I'm doing juices every single day.
Yeah.
Because that was, that's the healing. That's what has to happen. So I think one of the things that we could share with the audience here, how can they relate, is whenever something happens, know that is life pushing you to actually make the choices necessary to level up.
I like that.
Because if you don't make a conscious choice, it's like I tell my clients all the time, you either hear the whispers or you hear the wrath.
That's right.
And sometimes we don't hear the whispers and we wait until the wrath, and the worst thing happens, that the wrath comes and we're not listening to the feedback, whether it's in business, whether it's in health, whether it's in marriage, and we wait until the shoe drops and then there's no coming back.
It's kind of like almost like God is orchestrating this bigger plan, and not that like you said at the beginning, not that he's punishing us.
It's not a punishment. It's
but
just
he's actually
awareness.
Orchestrating the way that, like, can you see this? This is for you. I'm not against you. Like, I have all this. And I think that's the part, like, if you are listening to this, if you have gotten away from God, or maybe you don't know God, and I'm not pushing my God on anybody that's listening, but it's like, it just makes so much sense to have someone higher than yourself, to me, because it just, it takes that to a whole other level, and it just gives me that sense of peace. Like, it's not just me here. It's like someone higher, more loving, more perfect, more, responsible for all of this.
I don't know how we made it through if it wasn't because I believe in a higher power. Because I believe that God brought us through this experience together.
Yes,
and
it's only made us.
If I didn't have that, I mean, if nothing else, this experience has brought us together.
Yes.
Has brought us closer to God.
Yes.
And also give us the awareness that, okay, now we have the opportunity. What are we going to do with this opportunity? Because, yesterday when you got the test, and, give some backstory to the audience, like, 6 months ago you got diagnosed, they wanted to do a liver transplant, and we said, no, we want to, try to heal it. They give you a bunch of medicines, you started losing your hair.
You gotta have so much of it, isn't that?
Side effects.
Yes.
And the one thing that I could do is do juices, like, and heal you with love, with attention,
the food
with
that we
food.
eat. Yeah.
And then for the last 6 months, we have been doing the work
religiously.
And last 30 days, what the doctor said is, okay, we're going to take you off the medicine and give you a chance for your body to heal. But if your body doesn't heal, we're going to put you back into the medicine, and you're going to have medicine for the rest of your life. Yes. So now think about it, that's just fixing the symptom of the problem. What's the real problem, right? And what doctors do, I'm not knocking medicine, because we need medicine in order for us to get better, but we also have to start looking at the deeper problem when diseases come. So then I started looking into energy work, and I started listening to some of the gurus out there, and asking myself, how do we attract this? Why did we attract this into our lives? Because I'm looking at you as a part of me. So if you are hurting, then I'm hurting. So the moment that I started getting conscious about, okay, what's God trying to tell me? What is the message here that we're not seeing? And yesterday when we got the test results, that the last 30 days we've been off medicine, and it's, your enzymes are back to normal and everything is looking good, it just gives me a sense of knowingness that we have an opportunity here that we have to continue to see it through. Yes. And the commitment to continue to work on ourselves, to continue to involve other people around us, to impact, inspire, and help other people know that it's not about what you could do, it's what God could do through you, is the message, is the gift, is what every time that you have a challenge in life, God wants to tell you.
And that's beautiful. And the same thing too, like sometimes when we get to that, then we forget so quickly. Then it's like, oh, okay, I'm done, I'm healed, my body's perfect. Then we kind of go back to the same thing, because that was like, for me, like, I was just thinking like, oh, okay, now I'm done, like I'm good. But it's like, okay, now to go forth on that mentality, to go forth with that help. And it's like, okay, what's next?
So now you double down. And this morning when you came down, I said, okay, continue to double down the juices. So
Why stop now? Why stop
now? This is the perfect time where people actually go out of their problems, get out of the situation. They find themselves going back in the situation because they stopped doing what got them out in the first place.
Yes. And especially now, like, to finish this year strong, I think, like, there's only a couple months left. And I think a lot of people
less than 100 days left.
Oh, you're already counting. So imagine, like, okay, if you have less than 100 days, like, even to set yourself up, to set the intention of, like, how do we finish stronger than where we are at this moment? Like, wherever you find yourself, whether you're coming out from a sickness or you're just sick, how can you finish with God's help, with His promises? How do you finish that year? How do you finish today? Because I know you said that it's so beautiful. It's like, let's just concentrate on today. Even though we have 100 days, how do we take care of today to show up and be our most authentic, loving self with God's help?
One thing I could share with the audience is focus on your vision. What can you do today to get your vision closer to you? And the vision could be getting healthy. The vision could be increasing your business. The vision could be having a better marriage. If you don't have a vision, if you're not committed to see that vision through, anything that happens in your life is going to take you off course. So with that said, we have less than 100 days at the end of 2020. A lot of people are waiting for 2020 to end. We're actually doing a virtual leadership summit. So if you listen into this and you want to join us at the virtual leadership summit, we're going to put a link here in the comments for you to follow us and join us. It's a complimentary. I don't like to say the word free because people discount when it's free. It's not free. It's complimentary. We're complimenting you for following us. We're giving an opportunity to join us because you follow our journey, you connect with us, you listen to our content. So we want to give you something back and take you deeper into this journey. So click on the link wherever you watch this video. Click on the links. It's going to be somewhere in this video and join us at the Next Level Leadership Virtual Summit. I know you're going to join us too. You're going to talk about some of the things that you're doing with your clients.
I'm always listening. I'm always there. So yeah, definitely. And just, I think it's a perfect setup, a different foundation for us to finish this year stronger than where we were yesterday.
Finish the year strong. Like whatever you're going through, whatever challenge you have, just know that God is giving you exactly what you need to level up and get stronger, because the best is yet to come. Learn it,
live it, experience it. Love life.
If you receive any value from this conversation, comment, subscribe, and share as we continue to impact more people and take them to the next level.
And please send us your comments and questions so we could answer them in the next podcast.
See you in the next episode.